Hi, and welcome to Coffee with Dogs. I'm Susan Allen Medium. I'm an evidential psychic medium and animal communicator. This podcast is a place to share insights into the spirit world and soulful stories of animals and what they can teach us about a life aligned with love. So grab your mug and let's dive into some magic together. Hi, Steph. Hi, everybody.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's so good to be here. I miss you when we're not doing our pod.
I know. And are you all tuning in every 1st and 15th? Susan drops a new episode of Coffee with Dogs. Do you know what is really helpful that we haven't talked about yet? Is if you can send the link to the podcast wherever you listen to a friend, that is super helpful for podcast growth.
I love that. And I also love your comments and stories on Insta. I don't even care if my post has nothing to do with what you need help with, because what I have found is people are sitting home. And the highest vibration is when we help another human being, right? Or we help a pet. So people are sitting at home and they're listening and watching and reading, but they're not asking. So a lot of times when you come out of the box with your authenticity and your presence on Instagram and you ask a question, I find that it's generally helping another human being. And I answer them. So thank you very much.
Today we're switching it up. Are you ready for this? Today we're going to talk about spirit guides, spiritual teams, ancestors, even angels. What are some things that Susan has seen in readings? How do they come through? How do they work on our behalf? So let's start with spiritual teams. I've heard it called. I don't know what language you want to use, Susan. You're the pro. But does each person have like a team that guides them from beyond?
hmm So, in my experience, it's usually your loved ones and past generations. Angels come through very intentionally at times. And I will say to the person, there's an angel here for you that you've obviously talked to. And they're like, yeah, I'm really into angels. I talk to my angels every night. Or a lot of past generations are your guides because people will say, well, I didn't know that aunt that bootlegged whiskey, but I heard she was like a famous bootlegger. Seriously. And I'm like, well, she sees your light and she's here in the reading and she just did a walk in. And then I move on because your dead loved ones in the spirit world, pets and people, if they don't have anything that's transformative or you need to hear, I got to move on. And I tell them, I'm with this lady or this gentleman, and they need something that they need to hear. And you know what they need to hear. So move on if you're not going to give me something they need to hear.
Yeah.
I kind of say that in my mind back and forth because as I'm having a conversation with you, I'm having a conversation with them. And I think that's why my brain is the way it is, so I could do everything. All the things, as they say, all the things.
So you see a lot of ancestors, loved ones. Is it always somebody that the person knew and has passed on, or are there even people like a great great grandma that they've never met?
Absolutely. And they come in with evidence and they usually will say to me, well, I didn't know them. Or I had that dog when I was 20. Why is that dog coming in? No, you don't all sound like that. But I'm talking about the people that it's the first time with me. And I'm like, because animals are the highest vibration of love in the spirit world. So they're going to come through because they're showing me that they slept on your bed when you were 8 years old and you gave them pretzels, whatever.
Yeah.
So they come through with love to let their people know here that they're still guiding and guarding them. And some people will say to me, well, I'm pretty sure my dog incarnated in my cat, which is hard to wrap your head around. We're living many, many lifetimes at the same time. There's many versions of us happening because time doesn't exist. So it's really way out there, right? So that's why we're connected to the angelic realm. That's why, your ancestors are coming in that you never met that, were from Czechoslovakia and Yugoslavia, and they're on a farm and they're showing me they had sheep and this is how they made their money, and olive oil was a big production for them. You're connected biologically by your soul family and your DNA. So you incarnate again together, but the relationships are incredibly different. And that's why you get that soul pat, because you're like, well, why is it that I'm so attached to and this broke me, and this was like the worst loss of my life when I lost this German Shepherd, or I lost my poodle, or I can't, like, I had a guy in Florida, 19 years. He hasn't had a dog and is still suffering from the loss. And he's at my group, really nice guy. And I go to him and he starts to cry right off the bat. And he goes, I know, I need extra help, which that's not coming through yet. He wants extra help, right? And I said, well, we could do a private together. And it was so good that he had that private because it was such a genuine healing that he was carrying this grief. Because our animals, when they cross, they're angelic beings as well, besides soul family. So their incarnation with you is so specific to get you through a specific thing during the time that they're here. Because if you think about it, the average animal lives between 8 and 15 years. So it's an eighth or 15th of your life that you would spend with this creature, right?
Right.
But when they transfer into spirit, when they're a soul pet, and some people say, well, that animal did get me through medical school, or that pet did. The minute that pet crossed, I got pregnant after 7 miscarriages. Like these are what has come through in my reading, you know?
Our ancestors are guides, an angel, a spirit guide. You're saying it's not, it's people and animals. So when your pet passes on, they are still guiding you. They're still with
Yes.
you. There's a lot of
Yes.
them, especially a soul animal.
Yeah,
Is there a
absolutely.
is there a difference in how you see or understand a spirit guide, an ancestor? Like, do spirit guides have they been on this earth before, or are they always like angelic? Is there a difference?
I'm glad you asked because Spirit just dropped in the answer, and I'm not making this up. It's a different energy when it's an angel.
Hmm.
It's completely different. I could see light around them. I could feel my vibration in my house change. It's different,
Right.
very different
Okay.
when it's a
Interesting.
higher being. I mean, I did a reading yesterday for a couple in the UK. It was their second reading in 2 weeks, and she was just but I completely answered in the first time, but she was worried that she lost the opportunity to get this particular puppy that she thought, and this will help a lot of people out there, I hope. When it's a reincarnated pet, it's not going to miss you. It doesn't miss you. Anything
Yeah.
that's for you is for you. You're not going to F it up. It's just for you.
Right.
Spirit is for you, not against you. And I think we worry so much excessively that we're going to miss an opportunity in a pup. Everything that's for you is for you. I think that's the thing. I had an interesting thing happen. It's a little off topic. This man shuffled in 20 minutes late in Fort Lauderdale at the group reading. And I was like, hi. I'm in the middle of doing my readings. And
In
I was like,
person.
yeah, in person. And he's like, oh, hi, I heard this is a spiritual event. And I'm thinking, well, okay, sit down. And he starts taking over the whole thing.
Uh-uh.
Well, I was last night with a Taoist leader and he talked about himself. And I'm like, was that helpful? And he goes, oh, yes. I don't think this guy believed in what I did.
Mm.
And it didn't matter. He was there for a spiritual experience. I don't think he thought he was going to get what he got. And towards the end of the event, I said, "Listen, I have a dog here, and it's Pepper." And he keeps telling me it's Pepper, it's Pepper, it's Pepper. So that man, I found out, didn't pay to get in. And the other thing was, at the end of the reading, he said, I don't need a reading. My dog died 45 years ago. That was the last dog I had. And it was a dog event. It was a dog event and grief support. So it's very specific. And then he pipes up that the dog he lost 45 years ago, nobody took Pepper in the whole room, was Pepper. And he said, this is what he said. He hadn't had a dog in 45 years. He came home from college. The dog got so excited it just dropped out of a heart attack at his feet. I know. Traumatizing.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you've been carrying this for all these years and we're going to get rid of it. And then his dad came in and said, he was supposed to be a lawyer. And I go, were you supposed to be a lawyer? And he goes, yeah, I'm the black sheep and I have an invention. And then he goes on about his invention and on about his invention.
My
So this
gosh.
guy didn't pay to get into my event and he never experienced what we were doing there.
Yeah.
I don't get excited till after the event and then I realize why I was there. So I just try to keep showing up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I hope he paid after.
Yes. And not have people sneaking into my event, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Um, how do you see a spirit guide, whether it be an animal or human, that's there for a person?
I see it in my head,
Okay.
and then sometimes they're in the room.
Is it
So
always a physical form or is it like a light
it's a
or
physical form, but early, early on, I think I made a deal with the spirit world. Like, don't show up in my house. Like, don't show up in my house. I've always been a very, what's the word, visual person. Like, I
Mhm.
love art. I painted, I did all kinds of crafts. You can just show me who you are in my mind. I don't need you to walk through my house dead. So I think that they have totally respected that. My guides and my dead people in the spirit world never ever scare me. I think the
Mhm.
most scared I was the last episode I talked about the dog that ran up to me and said, "Thank you for saving my life."
Yeah,
It's not, it wasn't a fear. It's just like that usually doesn't happen.
right. What do our ancestors, loved ones know about what's going on in our lives? What do they tell you?
Everything.
Are they always tuned in? Do they have opinions on our
No, they're tuned
lifestyles?
into what you're thinking about as well, like what your worry is, your fears are, your medical diagnosis, your cat not feeling well. Like they're tuned in and they come in with evidence for what you need. It has nothing to do with me. I don't edit. I say the most bizarre things sometimes, and people can take it as evidence.
Right,
So, there's no mistake. Spirit doesn't lie. They're around you and with you. They witness your life. The common question, oh, is my mother in the room when I'm having sex? No, not that.
right.
They
It's
just
different.
know what your worry is. They know, like, if you're about to quit a job that you shouldn't be quitting yet. They come in with a lot of good advice, I find,
Hmm.
and they want to get you to the next level and they want to help you. They're helpers. Listen, the veil is thin. It's getting easier and easier for them to communicate with us, with our pets, all of it.
Wow.
Something really weird happened yesterday in the reading. I almost want to re-listen to the Zoom recording because the couple that came back after 2 weeks from the UK to have a session with me, I started, you probably know more about this than I do. My mouth started to feel like an automaton, and I felt like I was channeling, like a
Hmm.
new voice came out. And I
Wow.
think it was for them specifically. So I was like, wow, like it didn't even sound like me. So now I want to re listen. I'm kind of fascinated.
Did you sort of check out? Like, do you remember what you said, or it was just coming like using your body?
Oh, well, I didn't feel it in my body. I just felt like it felt like my jaw was so wide open and so square. Like my mouth became square and I sounded different to myself. And I was
Wow.
like, oh, this is for them. So I'm wondering if that's one of my guides and the channeling thing has begun. I'm okay with
Oh.
whatever because I totally feel protected and I'm at ease with the work that I do. And I love the work that I do.
How can people who are listening get more in touch with their guides? What are some things that we can do to connect?
I'm so glad that you asked because Chelsea and I are putting together courses. There's going to be 3 courses. They're going to be affordable. This isn't like private mentorship. You could buy one or all 3. If you buy all 3, we'll do a discount. We'll have it out probably by the end of April. So, beginning of May, it'll be available.
This one goes out May 1st.
I think oh, wow, how wild. So, it's going to be available. It's on my website. You can buy it. And I really want to guide and help people right now. I feel like that's a big calling.
Hmm.
I think people need more peace as we go into this new earth. We're
Right.
moving very, very quick. So the veil is thinner. The messages are stronger. I'm channeling, I believe, at this point. Like things are coming out in a different sound. And we need more grounding. We need true support. We need true leadership into what is really real because the light is so much greater than the dark.
Hmm.
But so many people get unraveled when they hear things like, the next bomb or the next war, or the next inflation. We're paying $7 a gallon for gas in California. My brother in New York's paying 3.92 a gallon. It's kind of, nutsy.
Hmm.
And I think people go into really big fear, but we've survived eons. We'll make it through this, but wouldn't it be more fun to make it through together in a higher vibration atmosphere community that I want to help lead in May. That's the courses that I'm going to be doing.
Okay. How do our loved ones, our ancestors, how do they choose who's still connected to us and when? Do we choose? Do they choose? Are your clients ever like surprised by a relationship that comes forward? Like, really? My grandma? She didn't even like me. Or does it always kind of make sense?
I would say 85% of the time to 90% of the time, it totally is sensible to the client, the
Hmm.
evidence that comes in. And what I say, like, especially when when you know you're going to get a reading from me, like in a gallery of 8 or in a large group event, I move really quick. In 90 minutes, I'm able to do 7 to 11 readings. I can't do more than that. Sometimes I stay so much longer with somebody, and sometimes spirit has me jump to the next one. But everybody really feels healed, even in a large event.
Hmm.
So, what I usually say to people is if you know you're going to get a reading in a gallery of 8, or you've booked me for a private with you, tell your loved ones that like, there's 2 ways to approach this. Please give me what I need. Whoever is the closest to me or has the best information come through. Or if you really want to hear from your mom, ask her to come in, give her the date, tell her who you're having a reading with, give her the time that you're reading with me. You just close your eyes 2 minutes before the reading, get some grounding, and just say, "Mom, I hope you're going to be here." And usually they're waiting at the door.
Mm.
They're just there.
Can we ask or sort of make a sign with our loved one? Like, you know what? Send me this bird or send me a
God, I
butterfly.
love that. Did I ever tell you this story? I think I did. My friend Nicole that passed away,
This
and there
doesn't
was
ring a bell.
okay. there was a Mylar. She was a healer, an amazing healer. And it was just unbelievable that I lost her. And there was a Mylar balloon wrapped around my rose bush the next day, and it said happy birthday. So there was a woman that was really, really close to her that I met at the memorial, a celebrity. And a year went by and she would text me Mylar balloons. And she goes, look, it's Nicole, the Mylar balloon. And I would always see, and I never asked because I thought, well, maybe that's her interpretation of Nicole. So I said, what's with the Mylar balloon text with Nicole? And she said, well, I was there when she took her last breath. I was holding her feet. Oh my God, Stephanie. And I said to Nicole, how will I know it's you? And she said, balloons, of course.
Oh,
So, Nicole, the day that I got the text of her dying with dignity,
mhm.
so Nicole texted me, I love you. And I went, I can't wait to see you. I'll come to the hospital. I didn't really get the gist that she was going to do dying with dignity. So 2 hours later, I get the text. Oh my God. It was so surreal of her memorial. It was right before she took the drugs to cross herself over in the lobbyist's home because it was just becoming a law here in California. And I was so like blown away that she didn't tell me, that I didn't know. And I really was like, I didn't even know how to physically take this in. It was kind of, oh my God. I wish I would have gotten to see her. And she put that mylar balloon on my rose bush, and I did not know for a year.
So even something that is a sign that doesn't make sense might make sense later on.
Yes, because you're going to attract to you
Right.
what you're thinking about. So if you're thinking bad thoughts and you're thinking about losing your job or being homeless or being sick, guess what? You're bringing it right to your front door, folks.
Law of
So think
attraction.
higher thoughts.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, like how long have we all lived, right? What, decades now? And some of the stuff that we feared when we were younger, did any of that really even happen? We have that fear thought, we're not going to graduate or we'll fail the class or whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Did it ever really even happen? So keep your vibration high. Why make yourself feel like crapola?
Do you feel like when we're in a good space, let's put it
Mhm.
that way, like that higher vibration space, that it's easier for us to be in connection with our guides from beyond? Is are we harder to reach
Mhm.
at certain times? You know what I mean?
When we have heavy grief, we're much harder to reach
Interesting.
because we're not open to the signs and symbols. And that's why it's good to have a medium, I think,
Mm-hmm.
because we transverse that. But I was telling my friend Debbie Dotschinger, she's a wonderful close friend of mine. We had lunch the other day, and I was talking about someone I knew 15 years ago. And every time we talked, she was a very close friend. Every time I got on the phone with her, she would say, when I get out of debt, I'm going to do this. When I get out of debt, and I got such a low vibration to talk about your debt.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally said to her, maybe if you stop saying when you get out of debt, you won't be in debt. And at the time I was selling real estate, it had to be 20 years ago. And within a year, she bought her first house. She had no debt. She had a high credit score. She sailed into her first home. So, is that not evidence? Is like what you're talking about, you're bringing about? I know it's evidence that shows up. I haven't always been in the best place in my life. I've had debt. I mean, I had to really work on those affirmations. I memorized them. I did them every day. 10 years. Every day I had memorized affirmations. And then the product of my life now is a work of art, I think. Heavy
Mm-hmm.
duty work, heavy duty affirmations. It's not like rocket science. Your cells hear you, your brain hears you. So maybe if you thought higher thoughts, what would appear in your life would be different things. It's a training of your mind. That's why
Right.
it's called the science of your mind. There's a whole religion, science of mind
Well, and what if we just
is
start
about,
small, right?
yeah, just baby thoughts. Like when you have a scary thought and you go, oh, try to catch that thought. Like for years, I trained myself to say, erase, erase. I'm a powerful being in the highest vibration, and riches of every sort are drawn to me. Golden opportunities are everywhere for me. I had them memorized. Just I would just take them out of the Louise Hay book, How to Heal Your Life. It's not, this is simple, easy stuff. And people just get so caught up in the sadness and the doldrums and the everyday crap. Yeah, crap happens. But when crap happens, I would reverse it and say, this is going to work out for my highest good. This situation is working out for my highest good. That's a good one. Like if
Mm-hmm.
my listeners are in a situation or a pickle, how about we say this situation is working out for my highest good, my highest benefit, and it's going to be remedied in a very short time. Like just write some good stuff down.
Well, that's some good advice. Advice from the
Yay.
beyond.
So sign up for my newsletter. So if you're interested in
Yeah.
working with me, doing the coursework, you could pick one or all three, or private, or you could email assistant at susanellenmedium.com. Rate and review this podcast, comments on Instagram. I love because you're helping others by being vulnerable and asking a question. So that like continues me to want to do this because if it
Right.
wasn't helping you, why would I be here? I mean, I'm going to be here, but why would I do this, right?
Right. Right.
You want to do what lifts you. That's what life should be, not the drudges. So do those affirmations. Your life will change drastically. Do them for 30 days. That's what we really need more of right now. The light workers are doing the work. Now we need the regular community to just think positive thoughts, to change the world and change our lives. And then it lifts us.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Coffee with Dogs. I'm your host, Susan Ellen Medium. I would love for you to rate and review the podcast wherever you listen. This helps everyone find me. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. From my soul to yours, and from our animals to us all, until we meet again.